princess. He had mystic powers and this and that. And so there was an important little event in Mahabharata prior to the war, because by the time the war happened, he's a young man. The ashram where Sati's father resided is in the Haridwar area, and when Sati went to attend a big yajna that her father was arranging, Daksha, he insulted her, and she insulted Lord Shiva, and she decided, my only connection with you is this body. I'm going to give up the body, and she sat in mystic trance and immolated her body. It's a very shocking event. It had consequences too. But the place that one can visit, virtually, there's some photographs of places where this event occurred. And it's in Haridwar. Long ago, the painting is Santanu, who is meeting his son, Bhishma, because Bhishma and Ganga were the father and mother of Bhishma Dev. Santanu and Ganga were the father and mother of Bhishma Dev. And after the departure of his father, he went to Haridwar to perform his Shraddha ceremony for his departed father. And there's a nice place by the banks of the Ganges. Another very nice place to visit, a nice understanding of the importance of Haridwar. When Vidura was on pilgrimage, one of the places he went was, and there's like 7 chapters in the Bhagavatam, discussion between Vidura and it took place in Haridwar, a place called Kushavarta. Kushavarta is an interesting place. Just from a mountainside, the Godavari River is gushing out of the side of a mountain and flows down and down and down and down and down. Interesting place. An important place. In Haridwar is the place where Vidura, after Vidura heard from Maitreya, he returned back to Hastinapur. And when he returned back to Hastinapur, he, in a private place, he gave some advice, you could say. He gave instructions. He was really strong with Dhritarashtra about how he had behaved and how he was contaminated by so many simple activities, and he must purify himself. He's blind, so how can he go to Haridwar? He went, according to Mahabharata, he went with Sanjaya, because Sanjaya was the eyes, and Dhritarashtra was blind. And according to Mahabharata, Kunti were the eyes for Draupadi, yes. So they were there, according to Mahabharata. They were in this Haridwar area for 15 years, undergoing austerities. One fatal day, there was a big forest fire. The long description. Sanjaya saw the fire, and he asked for instructions from Dhritarashtra what to do. And Dhritarashtra said, leave immediately. He said, but you're blind, and how can I leave? He said, we're here for this purpose of giving up our body at the time. You don't have to stay. I'm instructing you, leave immediately. So Sanjaya left. But Gandhari and Dhritarashtra and Kunti all died in the fire. And this is a long description of how that happened. The Bhagavatam speaks differently, as you see in this painting, the BBD painting. He, according to the Bhagavatam, he was a very powerful person, and he underwent such Ashtanga yoga to such a degree that through Ashtanga yoga, he was able to ignite his body in a burst of flames, and his body was a pile of ashes, and Gandhari entered into the funeral pyre. Not so well known, but a very important part of the Ajamila story is after the Vishnu Dutta stopped, he gave them a swing. The Yamadutas went to Yamaraj and asked, what was that? Etc. And Ajamila Dutas, but they didn't stick around, they just departed. Because he's now received transcendental knowledge, now he has to do something with it. Pretty startling experience. And what he did next is, the description is, he immediately left his home. His home means that the prostitute with whom he was living and all of his children, he just left. And when he left, he went to Haridwar. And when he went to Haridwar, he took association of a Vishnu temple in Haridwar, and there he engaged himself vigorously in the performance of bhakti yoga and so forth and so on. And thinking of the Lord's transcendental form, that moment came when his actual death, the Vishnu Dutas came on this, as you see in the painting, a Vaikuntha Vimana. They invited him to get on the Vimana. His body, Vaikuntha resident form, and off the Vimana went back to the spiritual world. So that's it. All of this little episode happened right there in Haridwar. There's a lot. Haridwar is an important place. Here's another importance. We mentioned it, so here's a little bit more of the story. Bharat Maharaj engaged in his activities of worshiping Surya Narayan in a place along the Gandaki River in Haridwar, a place called Pulaha Ashram. And he went all the way to the stage of Bhava Bhakti in Haridwar. Then there's another reference that we mentioned. There's this whole situation with Jayadratha. Of course, this is a Mahabharata special. But as many of you know, the grandson of Arjuna, the grandson of Krishna, Abhimanyu, was the son of whom? Arjuna. One. Abhimanyu was the son of Arjuna. And mother? Subhadra. So the son of Krishna, the son of Arjuna and Subhadra was Abhimanyu, and he was powerful, super duper powerful warrior, unstoppable warrior. This lengthy description of, they decided he's so powerful, he's destroying all of our armies. They ganged up on him. 7 generals circled this formation that he couldn't get out. They attacked him. And the attack was made in such a way that the Pandavas couldn't enter to protect him. The reason is Jayadratha had received a benediction. Jayadratha had received a benediction. Who's Jayadratha, anyways? Wait. Well, I'm going to give the answer. There were how many sons of Dhritarashtra? 100 sons. And he also had one daughter, Dushala. So you know the whole story. Yeah. So Jayadratha married Dushala. But on the very day that Jayadratha was on the wedding carriage on his way back from his wedding to Dushala. He saw Draupadi along the road. And he got off this wedding chariot and, tried to kidnap her, accost her. He wasn't a very civilized man. And so when Draupadi informed the Pandavas what happened, especially she informed Bhima, Bhima was going to smash him and had him on the ground and was with a club raised, ready to pulverize him. Yudhishthira stopped and said, he's from a royal family. You can't do this. So the punishment was, as you see in the painting, he had his head shaved except for 5 little sticks of hair coming out. Wasn't a secret either. And so he felt humiliated, and they laughed at him. That's what the painting is showing. Jayadratha was angry, and he decided to take revenge. And his plan for revenge was he went to Haridwar, engaged Asya with the plan of pleasing Lord Shiva. Notice in the painting he doesn't have any hair, but here in the next painting he's got hair and a beard. And Lord Shiva came because he did austerity for a long time. And Lord Shiva appeared. And what would you like? So Jayadratha's request was 2. He wanted, of course, to be able to defeat the Pandavas, and that was his get back wish. And Lord Shiva said no. He said, I can't, Krishna always the favor of Krishna, so it can't be done. Once, and once only, you can hold back the Pandavas, except Arjuna. So that happened. They held back the Pandavas when the grandson, Arjuna's grandson, son, I know. I'm just waiting for the noise in the background to simmer down. Jayadratha held back the Pandavas, so they couldn't enter, and Abhimanyu was killed. And at the end of that day, when Arjuna came to find out what Jayadratha did, he took a vow, the vow, I'll kill Jayadratha or I'll give up my life, entering into fire. There was another drama in the history of the Mahabharata war, the Kurukshetra war. And he wanted a second benediction. Anyone who made Jayadratha's head fall on the ground would have his own head broken into 7 pieces. So that happened to his father by Krishna's arrangement. He protected Arjuna from that death or mishap. So that's just the Jayadratha doing his austerities in Haridwar. One of the places is the Kumbh Mela, where it takes place at this particular ghat, in cycles of time. Kumbh Mela takes place at different locations. And here is a little detail when is the most auspicious time to bathe in the Ganga at this auspicious place. And then the special place is these particular days. So Kumbh Mela. Here's the other places where bathing are especially important. The third in this list, Kankal, that's where Father Daksha had his ashram, where he did the Daksha Yagya, etc. That's the place, Kankal. And we mentioned some of these other places already. So one of them, Hari, Ki, Kauri, Ghat. So there's a number of ghats along Ganges and Haridwar. This is one of them. The one who visits this place, there's a temple that has the markings of the feet of Lord Vishnu or Lord Hari. And here's the temple. And here's what it looked like inside the temple. Mother Ganges, the arti every day at 6 a.m. is where they have the arti. You can see there's a lot of people participating. It's a big event. And along in Haridwar, there's other ghats that are particularly celebrated and famous and visited by many pilgrims. Of course, depending upon the time of the year. In this location, one of these ghats is a place where Dattatreya performed austerities for 1,000 years, standing on one leg. Another place in Haridwar is the capital of Daksha, where Kankal, where Sati immolated herself. Here's a temple of Lord Shiva, pictured from the outside. And here's the same temple from inside. Inside the temple of Lord Shiva is this deity, Daksheshwara Mahadev. And the legend is this deity, known also as Bholanath, fulfills one's desire pouring water on the Shiva Linga. Sati Kund, this is, they say, the place where Sati immolated herself. She's the daughter of Swayambhu Manu, described in the Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Bhima Goda Kund, it's not one of the ghats, but it's a place along in the Haridwar area. It's said that Bhima pushed his knee heavily into the ground and a big kund was formed. Bhima was very powerful. Mentioned earlier, this is the Saptarishi Ashram and the Sapta Sarovar Ghat, the seven sages. He made a request, and the Ganges split into 7 streams just to place them for a place where they were performing their austerities. There's a lot here, huh? Haridwar. Manasa Devi Temple is the place where they say, you see up on the hill, Manasa Devi Temple. We're going to see the deity shortly. That where the heart and navel of Sati fell. Here's the deity, the 3-faced deity with 8 arms. Remember that? And here's some other photographs. This is the temple where she is situated. This is Pareshwara Temple, Temple of Lord Shiva. And that's on the outside, and this is on the inside. And the interesting Shiva Linga, they say the Shiva Linga is made of mercury. Now I don't know how that is, because mercury is liquid. So somehow deity made of mercury that's not liquid, but it's a solid. Somehow, that's what they say. Now, just to review, because this is the final slide for this evening. In the course of 14 classes, with how many people come to, so you're all invited. If you don't come, you can see it virtually. If you don't see it virtually, then you can see the YouTube recordings if you like. You know, all these different. The place where Narayan Rishi appeared and had their ashram. There's many very interesting and important event in our Vaishnava history in this place. So that's our topic for this evening. This is the first class that we'll be having. So you've already seen it. You don't have to see it again unless you want to. The details, and then there's some details behind those details and behind those details. And then there's different scriptural references describing these details. You know, how Narayan appeared, where they appeared, and circumstances, and what they did. Anyway, because according to the Bhagavatam and other scriptures, they are the same as Krishna and Arjuna. Nara is the same as Arjuna, and Narayan the same as Krishna. Only, you know, they appeared in two forms, but the way that the texts describing Narayan are found in one entity, or just like entity, rather than Krishna as one entity. But in this case, Narayan are two forms, but described as in singular, as one entity. How intimate was Arjuna in relation to Narayana? It's an interesting topic. It's puzzling, to be sure. So let's see if there's some discussion. A little different topic than our normal Bhagavad Gita class.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was very Haridwar Dham. Haridwar Dham ki jai. For Narayan Rishi, I was thinking about soul and super soul. If that context is still valid with the Narayan Rishi, like soul as a Arjuna, everyone is a soul. And super soul is Paramatma. Can we take as a soul and super soul as a Narayan Rishi also? Can we consider that?
No. Because we're not Arjuna. and there are different messages at different times. One can say same tattva.
Yeah.
That you can say.
Yeah.
But you know, the jiva is not Arjuna. Nara indicates human. Nara indicates human, and Ayana is the shelter of all humans, of all souls. So it's a bit of a stretch. They have to edit that language to be yes, because otherwise, the way you phrase the question, the answer is no. As this, so that. So you can make that kind of comparison. With very carefully, edited language. Anyone else? I think the best thing I did today was invite our kirtan singer to lead kirtan before class. I think that's the best thing I did today. Very nice kirtan. And everyone was absorbed. Everyone was absorbed. Nice. Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Every day we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but it's very difficult to be in attentive chanting.
Very difficult to do what?
it is inattentive chanting.
That's easy.
That is.
Inattentive chanting is easy.
Could you share how can I improve my chanting?
How can you improve your chanting? Sure, come to our japa retreats. In Chicago, we have one every year. You know that? You know about it? 4th of July holiday. Every year. I'll say some things, but you participate with those that are super focused and that help you improve the quality. One of those occasions is every year, for some number of years, in Naperville, we have a japa retreat. We call it Festival of the Holy Name. If you come, you can be at one of the kirtan performers. I would need your name so the organizer can. This young, I don't know your name. This young girl that led kirtan.
Jyoti.
No, the one behind you. The one that led the kirtan.
My name?
Really?
My name?
Yeah,
Oh, Divya Radharani Devi Dasi.
Nitya Radha.
Divya Radharani.
Divya Radha. Divya Radha. Okay, so if you want, we can invite you to come to the Festival of the Holy Name. And because part of it is japa, but part of it is kirtan. I mean, it's a nice event. So associating with those who are very focused on increasing the quality and quantity of their chanting is a really good way to help improve the quality and quantity. Then there's a nice devotee in Houston who was the temple president. Now someone else is the temple president. He is an older person. So, but now he's just focused on chanting, and he has this japa call. And people that are new people and people that have been chanting for decades and everything in between are part of that call. And it's the same principle, chanting together with others. And it's virtual. But he shared with me recently, and Shall send me a little message, and I'll send you that. But he chants, hundreds of rounds daily. He's really an amazing person. So, not every day, but on Ekadasis and festival days, appearance days, things like that. He's very immersed in chanting. He's retired and that's his thing, is chanting. So he sent me an image that he puts on his, what he calls his table. It's a really simple picture, but the message is Krishna when chanting. So the image, it's not super fancy art, but it's simple. There's Krishna very clearly. He's facing, the viewer of the painting, and he's in a boat. And the person in front of him has his back to the viewer of that painting. That's us, looking at Krishna, and then a boat. And the boat is in a body of water, a lake or something. And the text says, "Be present, and I will always be with you." Something like that. So Krishna is there in his name, but we're distracted. So the quality isn't. We're not experiencing that. We're not experiencing that. But by presence with Krishna and by presence with his name, it's a very simple principle. And I get it. So I'll send that around. And one other thing that I find is super important in anything, starting with chanting, and that is a sense of purpose. Why? Why is it important to you? And to the degree that you have a clear answer to that why question, you get the what to do, the how and what answer. Or say it in the opposite. If you don't have a clarity as to the why, the how and the what is, it may help for a little while, and then it'll fade. And where does your attention go when that purpose fades? The distractions. How many distractions are there? Too many. How to overcome the distraction? How do we have better quality chanting? That's your question. Standard question. Be very clear why you want to have quality chanting. And there's not like a right, but have an answer that's your answer. That moves your heart, moves you. And then the what and the how becomes a piece of cake. Okay? 3 things. Anyone else? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.